Well, hello, my beautifuls. I hope you are well. I hope that you had a good evening. A lot has been going over and on and in the Sebastian Rogers case. There's a lot to talk about. We have information from Tony Mathis and about Tony Mathis. So there is some people that are misunderstanding and not reading their paperwork right. And there's a Tony Mathis out there that happens to be a black male that has a criminal record. And many people are mistaking the Tony Mathis that works with Seth or for Seth as that Tony Mathis. So I just want to clear that up right away. We also have some very interesting texting going on between Sebastian and Katie's mom, allegedly. There is just a lot going on. So, without further ado, let's get over and talk about this young man. I want to welcome everybody to 1111 True Crime, everybody's favorite true crime voice on the YouTube streets. So, Sebastian Rogers is still an Amber Alert. He is 15 years old and missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. This is his mom, Katie. He has a stepdad named Chris Proudfoot, and he has a real father named Seth Rogers. He's been missing since February 26th, but there is more information. Let me shrink this up so you can see it a little better. Get the guy's face all on there for you. There is information that a YouTuber or a TikToker, not sure which, had an interview that they were not allowed to record or they didn't ask to record with a detective that is the second detective, meaning not the one in lead, but second detective. And there are some claims out there. So let's get on with it. Let's get everybody here. Big giant hello. I would like to welcome Starlight Moonbeam Spoon to our Starlight Seed we were made for you. Your name has Starlight. I thought that was cute. I gifted you guys 5 memberships. It went to Carrie Starr, Storm Dancer, Robin York Groom, Karen Guy, and Crime on a Dime. Welcome, everybody, to our Starlights. I want to say hello to all our beautiful people. Mr. Ifs, Az is here. Hello, lovely. Jennifer Swain is here. Thank you guys for modding. Jenny Troglin, thank you all for modding. It's possible that Joyful will still show up too. And if you are on replay, I want to say thank you humbly from the bottom of my heart because your replay is what actually feeds the algorithm. And all your support is greatly appreciated. And if you're here on the live, thank you as well. And without further ado, I must like that saying. I've said it a couple times now. Let's see. Where do you want to start, you guys? Where do you want to start? There is so much. There are a lot of people working to somehow find something really nasty about Tony Mathis and discredit him and so forth. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen anything so far, but I'm not fully on board. I don't know about this PR for missing parents. It's almost getting commercialized in a sense. I don't like that. I get a PR for somebody that's famous and so forth, but at the same time, I may not call them a PR. If I had a missing child, I would just call them a good friend that's going out to spread the news. And anytime anybody is working to get Sebastian home, I'm on board. So I think we ought to give him a chance. I'm a little hesitant with some information he's sharing. Hi, Ida Anthony. You say good evening from Dan and Ida from Emmett, Idaho. Ooh, you probably know all about the Idaho 4 case. Let me know what you think about that whole case. Hey, life is beautiful. Did they find the little boy? They have not found Sebastian yet, lovely. He is still missing. If they had found him, I assure you I would be hooping and hollering. Elmer Wood says, I'm having trouble believing a detective is going to tell a TikToker any information. Well, I don't know. I mean, Betty Bullhorn did get interviews in the Summer Wells case with well, I don't know if it was a detective, but an investigator, law enforcement, or someone. Um, I don't know. I kind of think sometimes, especially if this guy knows that this guy is a TikToker or whatever, he may be more inclined to give an interview if he knows the guy or doesn't know him but knows of him. You know, it's not like this is just some stranger off the street that walks in. He obviously knows what he's saying is going to appear online. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. What are you guys' thought? I don't know who Stephen is. I've never. Is that the gentleman's name that talked to the detective? I don't know. You guys are saying it's already been debunked. I hate that word, by the way. He lied. Um, I haven't heard either way. Benedette says no way would he use his phone and then not take it with him. Oh, on the Sebastian case, Katie had his phone and called her mom. That's the other thing. So, this came from Tony Matthews, or Mathis, sorry. Tony is saying that last night they found out information. This is coming from Tony. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, what the actual heck is going on? So we have to open this up a little bit. I try to avoid talking about this stuff because the mother of Sebastian is Katie, and she was atrociously abuse because of YouTube. I have to spell all these big words, even if you're doing awareness. All right? Atrocious. In her childhood from her mother, who's an RSO. And if you don't know what an RSO is, a registered ex-say vendor OA. Big Latin. We all know it. And unfortunately, there's nothing funny about what happened to Katie as a child. It is horrific. It's unforgivable. But Tony Mathis is saying that Sebastian was texting Katie's mom the night he went missing. And I'm like, what in the actual world? D. Marie, hello, lovely. You said, Mama D, it's a lie. He posted a video to apologize about his lie. Why do that? Why get our hopes up or confuse a case? Oh my golly. Which part is a lie? Now I don't even know what's going on. I've been so busy. So, are you telling me that Tony Mathis lied? Or are you telling me that TikToker lied? You guys help me understand. Today, all the stuff in Sebastian's case is going so fast that literally I watched probably 4 videos today when I take a break, and I'm still not caught up. Who's he? You guys are saying he already said he lied about it all. This is just too much. I get it, lovelies. I feel like it's too much too. It was Katie, not Sebastian. Who was? Okay, so the TikToker. Okay, thank you. Bama Lady 87. No, the Stephen misspoke. He said the TikToker lied. The whole thing, TikTok guy. Oh my gosh. That is so sad. I know Jennifer Swain. I'm with you 1,000%. She says, Mama D, there are a lot of horrifically abused children. That's not a defense. 1,000%. But I don't like talking about what she went through unless it's going to help find Sebastian, just out of respect for somebody that went through it. But that's a whole nother thing. So the reason I am talking about it is because even if the mother had a conversation with her mother, the RSO, what is going on? Because it's timed on the night that Sebastian went missing. And I'm like, is this true? Is this actually true? Hey, Anna Jean, you say, love you, Mama D. Your episode made it on A and B. He gave you awesome credit about your theory. Aw, that is so cool. I'll have to check it out. Like I said, I kind of like when I would take a break, I would check YouTube to see how everybody was doing, if there was any breaking news and so forth. And I just kept going, kept going, kept going. Because, all right, for those of you that know that our mascots or living creatures are Jackie Moon and Lucky Star, which are my Jack Russells, and we got them when they were tiny, remember? And you'll see videos if you're on the member section. Well, Jack took off out the front door the other day and ran straight toward the road. So I got fencing ordered for the front, and I've been setting fencing all day. Okay, let's get into the Sebastian case. Sebastian was never seen on the video Zelda. Which video, lovely? Because that's the other thing too. Is he made it sound, the TikToker made it sound like, well, and does it matter if he lied? I mean, does it matter for me to say it anymore? He made claims that now we know aren't true. Did he lie about the video or about talking to Tim Bailey or what? Great question, Jazz Dopey. That's what I'm wanting to know. Okay, somebody give us a full update. This is the one time you guys are giving us the update, right? Instead of me giving you the update. Because y'all know more than I do tonight. D. Marie, there's no video of Sebastian getting into the car, Grandma. It's a lie, Mama, unfortunately. Okay. I didn't even know there was a lie out there that he got into a grandma car, because if that would have been out there, I'd have been like, oh my gosh. Debbie Clark. Here, Tony Mathis said Seth Rogers will be relieved hearing this, and at the same time, Seth was out with Pascal. You guys are checking me out from A, B. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I did walk a theory last night, and I tried to do it justice. It was live when I was sharing it, and I did get a couple people that wished I hadn't used initials, and so I'm going to remake it. I'm not going to come live with it. I'm going to record it because guess what? 90 people out of every 100. So it was literally like that. 90 out of every 100, and we got hundreds of comments, were urging me to at least submit it to TBI. It was kind of interesting because you guys told me don't even bother with Sumner. And that says a lot about how much lack of faith that we have in Sumner County. I mean, it really does. I did great. Thank you, Jenny. I'm recording him now, says Barbara Daly. Awesome, awesome. Adez Perez says, I pray daily for Sebastian to be found and whatever happened in the darkness to be revealed. I pray Sebastian will receive justice for all of the ABUSE, because YouTube makes me spell, that he has suffered. I agree and amen, lovely. Amen. No, I have not sent it to TBI. I'm going to remake it. I'm going to record it to where, even though it has the initials, I'll be saying mom, step grandma, step dad. Well, maybe I'll take the initials out, but I'm going to re-record it. And for those of you that want to re-watch it and so forth, it will be over the weekend. Probably release it tomorrow evening or Sunday. But it's going to be the same theory only I'm going to walk it through without being with the initials because that screwed a lot of people up. I appreciate all of you that took the time to watch it, and I really appreciate that you say I do a good job, but I'm heartbroken that that even is a theory, that that's even plausible. Um, but unfortunately, with what we know, I mean, it doesn't look great, does it? We've, we've almost quit counting days because we're almost nearing 2.5 months. It's like, well, we can start going by the months now rather than the days. Hey, Debbie Clark Lovely, and supposedly CPS mom to him to keep KPS mom, and then poof. Teresa Wilson says Seth will be like a bull in a china closet once he hears all the bull baloney. Thank God he was with Pascal today. Ren Haneker says, thank you for the membership. I just noticed I'm green. You're welcome, lovely. You didn't have trouble following it, Vivian? Most people didn't, but I really want somebody asked me literally to dumb it down for TBI. I had the most beautiful comments in the sense of the way that they were worded. Like, people were like, you should be working for TBI or wherever you live. And there were other people, a lot of people were like, you need to be a detective. You need to be a PI. I'm like, I like what I do. And I'm always hoping that I'm taking the time to truly dedicate it to the victim. By the way, we have this beautiful boy here. I want to go over this again. Sebastian Rogers, approximately, what is he, 5.5 feet? 120 pounds. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous little boy. Or young man, right? Debbie Clark says Tony Mathis should have stopped the young man, but he let him continue, shaking his head in a yes manner as to agree with the young man. Well, and he said, Tony Mathis said that how did he word it? It was something to the effect, if this man that was sharing this, because he was on the same video with this TikToker, and he said if Steven or Stephen or whatever his name was had told him, Tony, that an alien, a Martian, landed on the curb and then took off, he would believe him. And that pretty much shot himself in the foot today, didn't he? Samar says, absolutely beautiful, cheeky smile. Can I go through my theory again? Jackie Grisham. Yes, I can. Do you guys, let me see a one if you want me to pull up the theory and just kind of walk it nice and where you can ask questions. We can talk about it again. You guys can be part of it. I won't present it, but I'll just show it to you guys. Barb Dale East, send me your email, and if it recorded real time, I will send it to you. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. I don't accept links just because there's some ickies out there that like to bombard a lot of ones. Hi, Tommy. Tommy Jude is here once upon a crime time. I love you. I love you. He is the most wonderful guy out there. Very musically inclined, talented, and just a heart of gold. But thank you, Barb Dale. I appreciate the offer. Joan Oblinger, sorry I'm late. You're never late. You say you enjoy the channel. Well, thank you, lovely. Oh, did you guys see I looked up Delilah? Because everybody says I have the same cadence or I talk like this. I guess it's a lady that does radio. And yeah. I put, oh, look at all the ones. They did fail Sebastian. All right. Hold on. Let's open up a program or two here. I'm not going to play this because I got not copyrighted. I got a community nope. So it is called the Blackout Theory. Operation Blackout means mode or means, opportunity, and motive. And it's based on three people in the know. Three people. That's it. Oh, thank you. Seashore Girl says you have a great voice. Thank you. I do sound like her, says Teresa. So it happens to spell mom means opportunity and motive. So we have to look at our suspects and decide what roles were assigned. Had to be a lot of planning, a lot of prep work, and it would be have to be timed, and the plan would have to be executed. Dreamweaver, oh, now I know who you're talking about. She's not a talk radio on the one on the weekend days and the evenings. She has a soft, soothing voice. Ah, thank you. Oh, you met her. My theory is correct in my opinion. Your theory is correct in my opinion. Thank you, Chloe. Unfortunately, because I don't want it to be. I want to be wrong. I want to be really wrong. Truly. I have the same sweet voice as Delilah, says Jackie. Where did it come from about Katie's mom? Sebastian texting her, not that Stabe. Barbara Sullivan, lovely. Tony Mathis said it himself. I heard him say it himself. I guess Delilah is on the radio, some in the evening in certain areas, from what I understand. Not sure. All right. Blackout main actors. These are the three I chose. You may have different ones. Jennifer Sway, Mama D, don't give out what state you're in. Okay. Good idea. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer Love. Sharon Marlowe, the video is false. Yes, Tony agreed with Steppen, and he did the walk of lie shame today in JLR. Ugh. I don't understand why people do that. Like, I'm terrified I'm going to screw up and say something unintentionally wrong. I can't imagine just purposely knowing that I'm full of crap. I can't, because, I mean, what do we do here? We work on the truth every day. I'm truth to a fault. Like, don't ask me if you're an overweight person, which I tend to be a little chunky monkey myself, no offense. But if you are worried that you look bad in those purple pants, and you do, and you ask Mama D, I'm going to tell you, you should put on different pants. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not into donuts. Adele says Ellie should have checked out those marks on Chris's arm. Compare them to claw marks from someone being in a chokehold or restrained from behind, in my opinion. She's got to be really old now, says Vivian. I don't know. Seashore Girl, no worries. Heard a southern hint. I am in Jade, the glorious Atlantic Ocean's Springsteen country. Okay. Delilah is a legend. Crazy bunch. Well, y'all have seen a picture of me. I'm not her, I promise. I did go listen to her. Yeah, y'all check it out. All right, let's get going here. Blackout main characters. Now, again, you might have different actors in here. So my first, and I listed them 1, 2, 3 by like primary and secondary and third. So my primary suspect would be the stepdad, secondary suspect, the mother, third suspect, stepdad's mom. So let me grab a drink and we'll kind of go through this. Stepdad's possible motives. So for every person that I would choose to feel that they have a possible motive for this, the people that would take part of this would each individually need their own motives. And so the stepdad's role in this scenario, possible motives, I came up with 3 for each individual person, mainly because 3 is the number in this case. So, stepdad in custody battled for his daughter. He has stated he would not allow his daughter in the same residence as Sebastian. Second Possible motive would be multiple CPS reports alleged by Sebastian. And the third would be the real father alleges the stepdad told the real father's mom that Sebastian was a pedo. So it could be feelings of resentment or fueled hatred. What do you guys think? Do you have any, um, possible motives other than these three that are way up high that you feel I should add? Because, you know, Step MP says I agree, and in that same order. As says, I think I watched yesterday's live about 4 times at this point. Wow, thank you. We're going to get into CP's arms, the stepdad's arms, yeah. Joe Puglish says he used to call Sebastian a pedo when Sebastian was a victim, in my opinion. Star Chaser says, WTF, right? Glenda Hinshaw, what if they did not discuss each part of the plan? Only one person knew the entire plan, maybe. That's very interesting, because that would allow others to pass a polygraph, most likely. Those are it, says Glowy. I agree. Amy176 says, I put in Dolly's chat to review your video. Blackout put in chat multiple times, and JLR didn't like his video today. Okay. You hope the Proudputs were watching this, Vivian? All right, let's go. So that's what I came up with on the stepdad. But if the step grandma is going to be, because you are putting your life on the line to harm a child, I assure you, you should never do that. Just throwing it out there, like, those little commercials we used to see when we were kids on TV, the more you know. The more you know is, unless you have a hell of a good reason to even smack a little kid on the hand, you just don't hurt a kid, period. I mean, if they're going to get burnt or their fingers chopped off, yeah, smack them on the fingertips. All right. But let's look at the possible motives. Now, none of these are excuses. Remember, motive is not justifying the means. It is not an excuse. A motive is how some people's minds work. And when they don't have this solid, protective feeling over children, they may have a motive in a sense. So protecting her son, the stepdad of Sebastian, because Sebastian has alleged multiple times to CPS, ABUSE, whether it held water or not, right? We don't know. And I want to talk a little bit here about something. I want to stay on this about the CPS report for a minute. Geneva Rogers, maybe stepdad is the pedo, and Sebastian was going to talk, or started to talk, i.e. at school and child services. So you're close to what I was thinking. You could be right. You may be right, bro, I know. Barbara Sullivan says, I think you're right, but he wasn't taken by Katie's mom. Chris done something to him. That's why he went back to get his camper, and he was 70 hours, just saying. Well, hold on, Barbara. We're going there. We're going there. I'm going to save my thoughts on the other. Let's continue. So stepdad's ex-wife publicly alleged stepdad's family conspired against her to gain custody of her blood granddaughter. So she has an alleged, Nina, the ex-wife, has publicly alleged that this grandma, the step-grandma of Sebastian, who's the real grandmother of her daughter, went to, conspired to be underhanded, if you will, to gain custody of the granddaughter, or for the stepdad of Sebastian. Could the step grandma feel resentment and burdened by the special needs of this child? She's in a high society where they make $1 million homes at the construction area, and that's her brother, I found out, not her son. Her brother owns the construction site, second generation construction site. And then, you know, the step grandma actually sells those homes. And we're talking people that got money. So, did they have some sort of resentment toward Sebastian because of his disability? That poor child, so very sad and vulnerable, says Vivian. Right? It is sad. Ades Perez, Ellie should see that there is a motive if we can see it. Why don't they treat homes as crime scenes in a missing person case? A lot of times there's evidence inside and around the homes, in my opinion. I think all missing children should be treated as a criminal case under the age of 12. That's just my humble opinion. From the get-go, we're not dealing with an adult that can take care of themselves. They're children. 12 and under, PG rating, should be treated, in my humble opinion, as a criminal investigation the second they go missing. We should never have to beg and beg to get this help. All right, let's play this Where the Past Must Die, in reference to the fact that we're about to go over um, the mother's possible motives. And there's 3 of them. And I spoke already about how, as a child, she was horrifically abused. Has that somehow put a fear in her mind that Sebastian hitting puberty and so forth? Well, let's take a listen to Chris.
So I'm not I'm not dragging Seth, his mom, his sister, my wife. I'm not dragging people through the mud. So what is in the past is the past, and that really needs to die. And I'm saying that for everybody to hear, to include all parties involved with this situation. The past is a past that needs to die. Let it be.
Past is past, let it die. Le- Leave it be. Um, as I said when we worked on the Summer Wells case, it really bothered me very much, as much as they would talk about death. Oh, I loved her to death. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Anytime a missing child's parent or step parent, whoever is the one caring for the child, uses the word death, it always bothers me. Just a personal pet peeve. Okay, so if you don't know about the background for KP, the mother, her Navy background, it's intense. She's got technical abilities. Now, this is, I think it's like a 4-minute video, so I'm not going to play it, but you can feel free to watch the video that it's on. And so let's get into this. So mom could easily do anything she needed with security cameras. Mom's possible motives. Mom's childhood trauma by parent, which now we talked about was the mother, triggered her for fear autistic son maturing to puberty without understanding socially acceptable private boundaries. So I want to stop right there, you guys. Let's talk about this for a minute. The real father has made a claim that he now has the CPS reports on the house. He never said on Sebastian, he said on the house. He knows what was going on in the house. He also said that there are names redacted. So, I believe there's another child involved in that CPS report. And that's why the name is redacted. And there's only one other child that I know of that comes into that house, and that would have been Faith. Now we know at Christmas, Faith was not in the home. Faith is the stepdad's daughter with his ex-wife that's in the custody battle. During Christmas, Sebastian was over at Seth's. We know that it came from Seth himself. So that Faith could be in the home. So something happened prior to Christmas that separated, like set a rule in Chris's mind where the two could no longer be together. And I don't know what that is. But I find that very, very strange that there are redacted names in the report for Seth, as if they don't want him to know who that child is. And I'm wondering, is it the daughter, right? So a possible motive also for the mother is perhaps there's an ultimatum from the stepdad, because he was the one that said Sebastian couldn't be in the home same time as his own daughter. So did the mother get an ultimatum that says, hey, it's either Sebastian or my daughter and me? In other words, if they can't be in the same house at the same time, it's either Faith or Sebastian. And I'm going, Faith and me, meaning the stepdad. So if you think about it, Katie doesn't have security to fall back on because, unfortunately, her family isn't great, right? That's an understatement. They're criminals. And they treat her horrifically. So she can't just say, okay, well, I'm going to split up with my husband and I can go home to my family. So I'm wondering if it was a threat of the loss of security of the life that she's gotten accustomed to. The $1 million house or whatever the price of the house is, the RVs, all the expensive things. And so in that, did she basically pull, this whole choosing herself over responsibility as a mother? That's the question. He was leaving her, says Samar. Kathy J. expert. She could have blocked or jammed signals. Exactly. Anne says, I'm wondering if KP is still getting money for Sebastian. Good question. As we can open the phone lines, but it'll be a little bit later. As says, I'm 100% lost. My iPad died for 2 months. I'm totally lost. Going back to fill in the gap. I don't know what that's about, love. D, I don't understand why Nina would allow Faith to go to the Proudfoots. Well, if the law makes her, then you have to. I didn't want my kids going to their dads. He was a rug user. He did not pay any money ever. He couldn't even feed himself. And the courts thought it was important enough to tell me that if my children didn't go to him every other weekend, that I could be held in contempt of court. I had to prove that my children were not being taken care of. Boogie Green Street, welcome back. You say Katie working for Brinks. This is so obvious. No working cameras, and yet she still has the ability to install cameras throughout inside and outside this home. Carol Mary says maybe Sebastian tried to do something to the little girl, and that's why they had to make him leave. I pray not. He didn't always know what was appropriate, so I don't think he would have done it if he felt like it would have scared or hurt Faith. But I don't know. Okay, here you go. See, we're getting more details. Jazz Doby says, an emergency custody affidavit, and I know this to be true, was issued by the ex-wife Nina on January 2nd when Faith got back. And she would have been alone with CP, well, her dad, which is Sebastian's stepdad, and Sebastian's mom. I think so. She chose the good life, says Jennifer Swain. D agrees. KP chose Chris over Sebastian. Sam R. Maybe Faith complained about something CP did to her and Sebastian. Ooh. Sam R., you get a gold star. You could be Right. I'm sorry you went through that. Chandra Stevens, cameras on the camper, so why not at the home? Good point, Chandra. Right, Barbara, he wasn't there. Bibi and Peach, child, are put in so much danger in these guises of fair treatment. Exactly. And it's sick when you choose a man or money over your own child. I agree. I definitely agree. Rachel, hello, lovely. You say, if he was going to live with his dad, maybe the mom was going to be forced to pay support. Well, allegedly, it was, from what I've understood from Seth, is that they legally have 50-50 custody. And in Tennessee, when you have 50-50 custody, nobody pays anybody. And they weren't changing the custody in court, they were changing the primary placement of the child. And so with that, I don't think there would be money either way. But I could be wrong, y'all. I could be wrong. I'm just saying that's what Seth said, is there was no money being exchanged. Fresh 187, well, maybe they were scared because it was done to him. I don't know, you guys. Something's weird in the SA department. Like, I feel like there's a cleanup on one of the aisles, but we can't quite figure out what aisle it's on. You feel me? Boogie Green Straight Bunny, the thud, not mentioned in the first interview. The story changed a few times. The thud is a cover, in my opinion. If Sebastian were found and say he died from a head injury, there is a reason for the story of the thud. I altered it a little bit, Boogie, just to make it a little more clear. Jess, Nina talked very highly of Sebastian, so I don't think he ever did anything to Faith. Jazz Dobie says no, Sebastian was always removed when Faith was at his house. Joe Puglish says, Sebastian Rogers' father revealed that his son, who was 7 or 8 years old at the time, was allegedly SA'd by an older boy. That is true. Rebecca Taylor, I think CP and KP didn't want to deal with Sebastian, and they wanted to Harley ride off in the sunset without responsibility of an autistic child, and I think CP resented and hated Sebastian. I think that's the icing on the cake, but for them, I think that their cake is that there's a dark secret within the center of the cake. And I think it has to do with abuse. I'll be honest. I could easily see that the stepdad has absolutely no patience at all. He's hot-headed. He's aggressive. He just overflows with anger. And I will tell you something. Autistic children are known for stimming. So if you're not sure what stimming is, I encourage you, get educated about autism. It is repetitive sounds, repetitive movements. It can be rocking. It's soothing. My son will rock, or he'll tap a foot, his heel. He'll tap his heel, or he'll tap a pencil on the table, or his fingers on the table in a rhythm. I've listened to it so long, I don't even hear when he's stimming. But if you are a hothead, nervous person, you might be triggered by little things. And I could easily, in my imagination, and that's all it is, I could easily imagine how hands might get laid on Sebastian by that individual out of anger, out of absolutely losing his crap. And so it does make me wonder. Glenda Henshaw said, instead of doing whatever happened, why not talk to Seth about permanent parent? Right? Ghost Annan, hello, lovely. ABUSE, because YouTube makes me spell it, is just essay. Putting pause on either of them would warrant a call. Correct. Let's do that. Let's shout it out. For all those that might know of a kid that has a really bad life. Like you would be terrified if the people that had that kid were to get their hands on your kid. Like that kind of feeling. I want you to know you can call in anonymously to report child abuse to your local county. You can also dial 911 to protect said child. And nobody has to know that you told anybody, especially if you don't tell anybody but the CPS or CFS or whatever it is in your county. But make sure that you step up, because if they go in the home, hopefully something gets done for that child. Annie Jean, do you think that mom took down cameras because she was cheating on CP, on stepdad, and she didn't want him to find out? Could there possibly be another man involved we do not know about? I have no idea. I honestly have no answer to that. I think at this point, with everybody digging into everything and all the neighbors, we would have known about that person by now. But that's just me. Hey, Elmo Jim, thank you for that snooper chat. Thank you. You are so kind and generous. Thank you, lovely. I wish I could pen that for you, but on YouTube, we don't have that ability yet. Robin Ward says my grandson will close his fists and he will kind of quickly shake his body like shivers, but longer than a shiver, and he would smile real big and make a noise, and I can see how it could be frustrating. Well, I'll tell you, this drove me nuts, literally. I would have to literally just ignore it. So when my youngest was about 5, he developed a fear of when we were in the car, and I don't know where he got it from, that the car would not stay on the road by it. Like it would just slide off the road. Not like we would drive off or have an accident, but like if it was a hill. Like the car would fall off like it was just a ball on the table, and it would just roll away and go off the side and into the ditch. And so he would start to cry if it was a big hill. And what do? You got to drive all over. So I got him hooked on word search books at about 3. And before I went anywhere, I would pack his little, carry-on bag, and I'd put word searches and pens and crayons and stuff so he would not see it. Because what do? You got to go up and down a hill, right? Kimmy says, I believe she didn't want Seth to have him either. Mom may be a very, very selfish person. I just want Sebastian to be found so that we can celebrate and move on. I feel so bad. Like, I was looking at his picture last night for quite a while. My heart was breaking. I'm like, how could somebody hurt this child? So let's move on with the theory a little bit. How hard would it be to prep for this theory? Well, you would need to remove all the security cameras on the property, and all security systems. Boom. Could that be what the trash, why it was heavy, being put out? You would need to set the house to a complete blackout with no exterior lights, because there's going to be a lot of coming and going with cars in this theory and with people. You would pack a change of clothes for the child, and maybe even yourself, because you're going to tell the child, hey, we're going to stay in the RV with stepdad. Now, a lot of people got confused why there would be burner phones. First of all, Katie would know how to get those burner phones so that they would not be able to be tracked back to her or the stepdad or the stepgrandma. And these burner phones would be used in several different ways. I'll try to explain it as we go. You would need 3, because each person would have one burner phone for a specific reason. And there's different times you're going to need a burner phone. You would need a compass, just one. And you would need 3 pair of night vision goggles, which are easy. You can get them on the internet. So the prep leading up to this is Katie explains, and I'm going to play this for you guys, how there were no lights on at her home at all.
Or lights on the outside of your house?
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored. We have lights, but they're not motion censored.
Were they on that night?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were they on that night? So the lights were out the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
Now, if I would have let that play, Chris would chime in and say, well, there were lights on in the garage. They're always on. But he wasn't there, and he doesn't matter. Hey, Jennifer Swain, thank you for the $50 snooper chat. Thank you, lovely. You do this so often. I am just so overwhelmed by your generosity. You said, yes, Mama D. Let's make a difference in these babies' lives, my Lord. Amen. Amen. So you heard Katie herself say there were no lights on but the solar panel lights, which are in the garden. And this is what Seth, the real father, said.
No. In 2024, I'll walk outside right now and you look around and people have at least their porch light on. Something that makes it obvious so that if you're walking around the house, they can see. Nobody has their yard and their house all blacked out so that cameras can't see shit unless you're fucking hiding something.
Boom! Seth gets the biggest gold star there is, because that, I will never forget that statement because it made so much sense. And we just heard Katie tell us that it was absolutely lights out. So we've all heard her tell the story about the colossal popcorn and all fun things that happened. And again, this is a very relaxed version of the video. Feel free to go watch the entire presentation part, which is called Operation Blackout. Crystal Clear says, but when Terry has gone by, the lights are on. But when Terry has gone by, the lights are on. Well, yeah, they're on now, but you just got done hearing Katie herself just told Nancy Grace. Nancy asked her 3 times, and she answered that the lights were off 3 times in a row. Let's listen to it one more time. Whoops, there we go. Listen to Katie. Where'd it go? There it is. Listen again.
Or lights on the outside of your house?
First time.
Yes, we do have lights on the outside of our house.
Did they activate that night?
They're not motion censored.
Okay, wait.
We have lights, but they're not motion censored.
Were they on that night?
1.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Were they on that night? So the lights were out
2.
the whole night?
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
3.
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
So she was asked 3 times in a row if there were any lights on outside by Nancy Grace, and the mother responded, no, no, no. Well, I have no doubt. I bet they do light it up like a Christmas tree. Joan Obliger says recently someone did a night drive-by at their home, and it was lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh, I bet. Right, Ghost Anna? Those garden solar lights are not bright. I have them in my yard. They don't show up for nothing. I know, Robin Ward. Why would she leave the state? Interior. Thank you, Mr. Ifs. Interior Family Studios just gifted 5 memberships. Welcome, Tri-Angel, Marijora Holloway, Annie Jean Crystal Clear, and Renita Woods. Welcome, all my new beautiful starlights. Welcome aboard the Truth Train. Kimmy K says Katie is behind it and Chris is covering for her, and it's too late for him to come clean now because he is going down one way or another, especially if his mother is involved. Then all three, in my opinion. Gina H says, I live a few neighborhoods over, and no lie, we are the only ones with lights. It's like pitch dark in our cul-de-sac. Good gracious. Good gracious. Whoops. Let's see. Posey PI says, especially what reason is there to turn off motion lights? Well, and these aren't motion. These aren't motion, right? He said that, which I find hard to believe. They have nothing. Elmo Jim says, I love your channel. First time listening. I think KP might have accidentally gave Sebastian too many sleeping meds and he might have OD'd on them. It is possible. All right, you guys, let's continue. So we went through the lights are off, and now let's talk about that day. Remember, they went bowling, they went with family and played games, which they went to BJ's or whatever. They went out to eat. It was just it was the best day ever. And Mom, fun fact, right? She says, fun fact, I made breakfast, right? And then Sebastian called to brag. I say it so condescending because my kids have never once been like, hey, Mom, can I call someone like Grandma or someone and tell them you made me breakfast? Never. Because they think that's my job because I'm their mother. Isn't that funny how they think it's my job to feed them? Wonder where they get that from. And you know what's weird? They want to eat every day, these children. Every day. I'm like, but, now they're 19 and 20 and I tease them. I'm like, didn't you eat yesterday? But seriously, what's so big about, fun fact, I'm eating breakfast and then Sebastian had to call and brag. What? Okay, let's see here. Let's take care of something. Jenny, lovely, don't worry about deleting their message if they say things like, I heard this is where all the tards hang out. Literally block them off the channel because they obviously are complete trolls. Thank you, Jenny. Robin Ward, I want to know if that day was a normal day for her and sweet Sebastian, because that's the kind of mom I am, but always, not just one day to say goodbye. I would like to know that too, Vivian. You gave a good reason why Mom's SUV, or no, step-grandma's SUV was where it was earlier that morning. Well, let's keep going. So here we go. We have this blackout. So when this best day ever happens, it's establishing a public alibi for most of the day. It's also kind of like telling the whole world, look what kind of parents we are. We're just superb, right? And it also gives video footage. So the child was alive all day. We were good parents. Everything was fantastic. Kind of like Madeline Soto's birthday party, right? Operation Blackout, decoy. So as Mom leaves her phone in her car when she arrives at the roadhouse, she has her last meal with Sebastian. At that time, in this series, the step-grandma arrives in her duplicate car, which is just slightly different, not much, and I think they've switched plates on purpose at this point, with burner phone. Now that's important because that's how Sebastian's voice is going to get on the dash cam without him being in the car. So listen close. So they switch cars and plates just for the day. And then the step-grandma is going to just wait in Katie's car for a cue. Now, at 6:39, we were told that there's footage of Katie and Sebastian leaving the roadhouse, but we don't see them get in the car, Seth says, the real father. This is the key. And at this point, Katie has also, the mother, has left her phone in her car. so that as the step grandma who has switched cars and now is in Katie's car, she has a burner phone, she has Katie's real phone, and she has Katie's real car with Katie's. It would actually have the license plate. And, or maybe you wouldn't switch. I don't know. Anyway, what you're going to do, you would leave them. Yeah, you would leave the license plate. Never mind, forget that part. And the decoy, which is step grandma, is going to drive Katie's car with Katie's phone right home and pull it into the garage, which is blacked out and it's dark. Nobody can see the driver. Nobody knows who's driving, who's in the car, nothing. She shuts the garage. But while she's driving on her way to Sebastian's house, this is where the burner phone, not her phone, but a burner phone comes in handy, because she can literally put it on speaker while talking to Sebastian with Katie, or while Katie and Sebastian are talking in the other car on the burner phone. She can put it on speaker, and that way it's being recorded on the step grandma is driving Katie's car. This gets so confusing, but yeah. Around 7 p.m., she's going to pull in the step grandma into Sebastian's home. Nobody's the wiser. There's no witness of the driver. Around 8 o'clock p.m. or so, she will have to pretend to be Sebastian, wear dark clothes, and take the garbage to the curb with a flashlight in the dark. And the reason she uses a flashlight is because that is going to blur. And we all know if you use a flashlight in pitch black and there's a camera, all you see is a flashlight and maybe the bottom half of the person, because it's just a big star of light. At around 9-ish, whatever time the call started, it really, in this theory, would not be Katie at home with her phone. It actually would be the step grandma playing the decoy so Katie can be in two places at once. And she's going to use Katie's phone to call the stepdad's phone and connect. And that gives or starts the establishing of the alibi, the 3-hour call alibi. Now, I wanted to show you what a dash cam example is. You never see the people. So if the burner phones are being used, you would never know that Katie and Sebastian aren't in this car, because I would have that burner phone on speaker with Katie and Sebastian talking. They're really in the step grandma's car, headed somewhere completely different. But that would put the boys on this dash cam. Now, we could get into, I'm going to skip that part and get back over to this. Yeah, we'll get to that next. Wait. What did I do? I jumped. Like, boom. Jumped big time. Hold on. There it is. Phew. There was a lot to cover there. Joe Puglish. Chris put his hands on Sebastian, and Chris's mother found out. She came to his aid, in my opinion. Linda, that was Joe Puglish. Linda Brookover says, in my opinion, mother may have snapped and went MMA on poor Sebastian. Renita Woods, hello, lovely. You say stepdad and mom and the flying monkeys are going to be in Orange soon. They think they've gotten away with this. Justice will come for Sebastian. I pray you're right. Vivian says, who did he call? Should have been asked. So is it true what Tony said? Was there a texting to Katie's real mom that night? Somebody let me know. Now, let's get into this. It's out of state, and with the reason being is if Sebastian actually went missing and Chris would have had access, opportunity, and all that in the home, with the way things are looking, he would, in my opinion, be the primary suspect. So if this is premeditated, he would want to be out of state. If he's 3.5 hours away, he can prove it the whole time. He's less likely to even be a suspect, let alone prime suspect. So I believe Katie left at 6:39 with Sebastian, driving in step-grandma's car to go meet the stepdad in Mississippi. And I believe around 9 o'clock, before she gets there, the stepdad answers the call from the stepmom who is playing Katie's decoy at the house using Katie's phone, the mom's phone, and is using that to connect and establish this 3-hour call alibi. Around 9:45ish, and remember, all these times are just kind of loose, right? They're just somewhere around that time. I believe that the mother and Sebastian arrive and meet up with the stepdad in their planned location, wherever that is in Mississippi. I don't know. I believe at that point, and I believe it's out in the middle of the woods, nobody around. That's just my humble opinion. I believe stepdad forces Sebastian to remove his shoes, clothes, and give them to the mother. At 10 o'clock, we all know, Katie alleges she heard a thud. Even Nancy Grace said she doesn't like the sound of that. It's usually described as a sickening thud. I mean, she knows her stuff. I believe this is when the plan is put into full action, and I'll just say it like that. Around 10:15, I believe it's over, and I believe both of them hide all the evidence. I believe around 11 p.m., the mother leaves, returns to Tennessee with Sebastian's belongings, including his shoes, clothes, and a flashlight. The stepdad would arrive back at approximately midnight at the RV. He would then pick up the phone, talking to his mom, and she's playing Katie's decoy back at the house. He then is letting her know the code word, go to bed. The call ends, and that establishes the 3-hour call. And the words go to bed is a code word, meaning the deal's done. We're going to skip that little part. We'll come back to it. Jazz W. Yeah, my kids never wanted to show off that I made breakfast. It happened every day. No big deal. In fact, my kids are picky. They really are. T-Rab 757 is in the house. Hello, lovely. You say hello, everyone. The move was successful. I'm happy to hear that. You got internet back. You plan to sit at 11:30 tonight? All right, we'll be over there. Please tune in. We have gathered serious information on stepdad and mom, including witness testimony. Thank you all, and see you soon. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. That's my little brother, T-Rab. Not in real life, but in real life. You know what I mean? Excellent, excellent. I love T-Rab. He has a heart of gold. Star Chaser, I love your name. Well, you know who most likely that is. Lynette Clump. Yep, troll. Good job, mods. You're on it. I have incredible mods. And we have a new mod that's going to be joining us. Her name is Annie. She's done a couple call-ins, and I really, really want to get her on as a mod, too. Miss y'all, I've had a lot on my plate. I bet you have, T-Rab. I'll jump over and watch her live. I certainly will. I'm going out to melt some marshmallows over a fire tonight, and I'll take you with me on my phone. Pam Jones praying your load get lighter now, T-Rab. He's a hard worker, T-Rab is. He really is. He's always working for the justice for the voices. Richelle says, I have been into true crime for at least 30 years. I've always been able to look at it almost technically, not consuming emotionally, but I'm consumed by Idaho 4 and this one, and it just makes me sick. I feel you. This case has gotten to me. There's a couple times in Sebastian's case where I had a mental breakdown, literally. Like the night when I figured out that, here I had the wrong Penny Payne, but I had the right name. And the wrong Penny Payne is head of an autistic facility. And it's within 5 miles of Katie's real dad. So I spazzed. I thought it was the tip of the year. I thought maybe he was alive. He could be there. I was so praying. So you believe it's planned, Renita was. I do too. I do too. Robin Ward, welcome back, lovely. You say, man, I missed too much. Well, we'll catch you up. Dee is asking, where do they take Sebastian? In my opinion, she says, stepdad may have buried him in concrete as he discussed the process with Terry. Oh, Lord. Don't forget the chocolate and graham crackers. Thank you, Dee. T-Rev757 says, I'm so glad to be in the new place and thankful to all of you for supporting me. We love you, T-Rev. We love you and Tommy Jude and all kinds of good people. You guys always have a place in our hearts, truly. Pam Jones, fresh starts are always good. Open doors for new opportunity. So, all right. 2 a.m., I believe that Katie arrives back in Hendersonville. Remember, she's driving step-grandma's car, parks it near the school, which is also near the R.L. Warsham's General Store. She takes the burner phone so that she has a light and she can also call on that burner phone with nobody knowing who she's talking to talk to step-grandma as she's making her way back to the house. And I'm going to show you the map. She brings Sebastian's clothes, shoes, flashlight, compass, and she's wearing the night goggles. At 2:10 a.m., I believe using her tactical Navy skills, because she's very trained, KP hikes the 3 miles, which is approximately at the very most an hour home, through dirt roads and small fields, entering her neighborhood through the construction site where the dogs alerted with Sebastian's shoes and clothes. I believe that's why they alert, because she's going to beeline it from the construction site, returning to her home, her darkness. Now think of Sleeping with the Enemy. Okay, if you've never seen it, I'm going to spoil your movie here. I'm sorry, but it's for a point. So Julia Roberts is playing the female, and she's married a monster who beats her, right? So she fakes her own death because he thinks she can't swim. Behind his back, she's got swimming lessons. They're way out to sea, and she waits. She breaks one light on the beach by her house so she can swim, and she can tell where to swim to in the pitch black. The light is out, so she's going to go towards the darkness, and that's how she knows where her house is. So she acts like she falls out of the boat, and he thinks she drowned. Meanwhile, Julia Roberts is swimming with everything she got as a professional now that she's trained, back to the house while he spends his time looking for her out in the ocean. She grabs her bag, she gets the heck out of there, mops up the floor. He thinks she's dead and gone. Go watch a movie. This is where we are in the Sebastian case. Katie's house is the only house black completely out. It's an absolute blackout. She's got night goggles on so she can see very clearly that her house is dark, right? She's going to be able to see good. I believe that the other person, the step grandma, is also wearing those goggles as well and has come out to meet her. And I believe that's what we're seeing on the 311 flashlight video. I think is actually not flashlights. I believe it's the burner phones where they're talking to each other, where they're coming together and they're like, you're almost here. Come on, Kitty. You got about 25 more feet. Come on, a little to the left. Yep, you're home. Let's go. Right? 3:11 a.m. in this theory, the mother using the light on the burner phone, heading to her blacked out home and hiding her return from all cameras because it's blacked out. Now, let's look at this real quick. This is the actual flashlight video. Think of this, just for this theory, think of this video if it is burner phones that they're using, not only to communicate on, but because they would light their way.
Man, and this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see, 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then, subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later, and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know, there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been Sebastian? Did he meet and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger.
It's up in the air for me because I don't think he would get into a vehicle with somebody unless he knew them.
So,
All right. So what do you guys think on that? What are your thoughts on that? Could that be the Bernard Bones? And I'm asking in this theory, in this theory, I'm thinking that that is the mother returning home to her decoy, which in this theory, that would be step grandma. Let me know what you think on that. Now, in returning to base, I left all these on here, didn't I? Let me get them up here. This is from last night when we were drawing all over. All right, let's get this out of here. You can see right here, it is approximately 3 miles from the R.L. Warsham's General Store. Here is the school, the football field right here. Here's the construction site, right? And here, right here, is Sebastian's home. Now, if you look right through here, if you look right through here, there's one little place you'd have to worry about, and it's not even a house. It's a business. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, this is a straight hike without having to worry about anybody. And if this is a construction zone, here's how you're going to work it. Let me grab my red pen. Well, actually, I don't need to. I can grab this. So you basically are going to park, step grandma's car here, grab your night goggles, and you're going to grab the clothing, the shoes, all that kind of good stuff. Now, this is a 1.2 miles, right? 1.3 miles. Yeah, it's not even 2 miles, y'all. Not even 2 miles. It's saying to drive it's 3 minutes. To walk it is 27 minutes. So let's just say we give Katie an hour. Boom, 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 boom. She goes through the construction site and boom, she's home. Just saying. Here's a little close-up of where I feel the Google doesn't update the maps as often as I'd like them to, but I think that's where the construction site is, and that would explain why the dogs would hit, and then we'd have all that whatever. So, remember, we have had from the PI verify that the stepdad returned to work in the morning at 5:15 a.m., but he doesn't start normally till 7. I don't know why he would be there that early. I'm not sure. But at 6:30 a.m., I believe step grandma goes and gets inside Katie's car and hides with a blanket over her in the back seat so that Katie can then drive her own car now, drop grandma off as if she's looking for Sebastian near the school. See, that's why the store. And she's actually dropping off step grandma back at step grandma's car, right? At 6:40 a.m., this is when I believe that Katie called stepdad to queue up the 3-way call to the sheriff's office. Not 911, but the sheriff's office, right? And then I believe when he is telling her, okay, you got to get back to the house, right? I believe that's because she's busy talking to step grandma, making sure everything's all kosher between the cars. And all of a sudden he's like, okay, get back to the house. And Katie and step grandma get back to the house in their own cars now. They've made the switch. Nobody's the wiser. 7 o'clock, we get the message that Seth has been notified. Don't be upset, right, is what he texted the real father. And then when he talked to him, what's up, he's like, Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset. What in the actual heck? 7:30, the real dad arrives at Sebastian's home, and he's the one that says the mom and step-grandma are both there already at 7:30 talking to the law enforcement. So then it's not till 1 o'clock that the stepdad arrives at Sebastian's house, and at 2 o'clock, around there, somewhere in there, he chimes in, hey, I gotta check out, you guys. I know my stepson's missing, but I gotta go back to Mississippi right now. I'll be gone for hours and hours and hours because I have to move my RV, which I believe was him returning to the scene because he's a control freak and he wanted to secure it and guard the scene. What do you think? T-Rev says, sometimes it's quiet ones that make for the most fun. Patty Cakes, okay, where is Sebastian in all of this, right? I'd say Mississippi if you had to ask me. I'd say Mississippi, and that's just my thoughts. Need camera footage of Grandma's neighborhood from neighbors, Boogie says. All right. Now, 8 days, all of a sudden, Sumner County and TBI announced that they are pulling back the searches 8 days after Sebastian went missing. At the very same time, that is the first time that Katie and Chris do their interview, the stepdad and the mom, their first interview. And when they do their first interview, it was 8 days, a week and 1 day after Sebastian went missing. And many people are asking if these are defensive wounds in these photographs on the stepdad's arms. So I'm asking you guys, if somebody had you in a chokehold or put their hands on your neck, would these be marks that you might make in defense on somebody doing that? I don't want to say too much, you know what I'm saying. Renita Wood, if you just focus on being logical, it's very simple to see the truth. Chris did not want Sebastian in the home. Sebastian even told Seth, I don't want to go back there. ABUSE, because YouTube won't. Because YouTube makes me spell it, right? If Sebastian was rugged or no longer with us in the car, how could they be so methodical and objective? I don't know. That's something I can never understand, how people can do something so horrific and lie, or even do something so horrific, any of it. I'm not going to try. Doesn't make sense. Ann says, I think they need to check between Memphis and Mississippi. Me too. Me too. Me too. Linda G says, your theory makes a lot of sense. Right, 8 days, time to heal. I think you could be right on that, Lynn. I really do think you could be right on that, Zanny. Zanny says, time to heal, 8 days, right? Okay. We're almost done with it. And then you guys, we're going to jump over. If you guys want to give me a call at that point, I can give you the number. And you can call in and chat. So that's the whole thing. We played that before. Like I said, go watch the video if you want the whole thing done in a professional way. I'm just throwing it out there to review it. It is called Blackout, Operation Blackout. This is saying, Chris saying it's a perfect crime. And the question is, a couple weeks after Sebastian was reported missing, step-grandma accompanies her husband to Alaska on a business trip. My question is this. Was it planned trip always, or was it an excuse to leave the town? Let's listen to this chick. She makes a lot of sense.
I want to hear your analysis.
Here's my problem. They're statements. You've got inconsistencies. As soon as somebody changes their story at all, they should become the focus, period. Mom has said different things. Now you've got a stepdad that looks like he's co-signing with everything that she says, but he allegedly wasn't there. So how can he agree with anything that she's saying? You've got mom saying she heard a thud. I don't like that word. That sounds like a body hitting the floor. When people use the word thud, that's not sounded like he hit the wall, sounded like something.
I want to hear law enforcement.
They're searches. They're searching landfills, lakes, ponds. That is not indicative of somebody that is alive.
So she basically is saying, you know, there's a queue when they're searching landfills. They're not going to do that unless they have a probable cause to search a landfill. Right, the Mississippi River. You're right, Kezzy. I would be checking that for sure. Hey, Fallon Love. Yes, an expert could enlarge the photos of the marks on CP's arm and tell if it's human and not little dogs. We had a guy over on, what channel was it? He was an expert dog handler. He trained dogs for police officers, I believe. Yes. Anyway, he knows dog bites. And he trains dogs for narcotics, I think. Anyway, he knows dog bites. And he was like, these are not dog bites. He's like, these are not dog bites. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So you guys, at the end of the video, I explained as, we have a lot of problems in this case, and one of them is we cannot seem to locate this 15-year-old boy named Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We cannot seem to find the answers that we need. And I'm wondering, they say, Ellie says that there is no evidence of foul play. And I'm going to add tonight, how can you have evidence of foul play if you're not looking? Well, they say it's not a criminal investigation, so obviously they're not looking. So of course they don't have it. Would they find Sebastian if they look at Mississippi, you guys? Give me a 1 if you think so. Give me a 2 if you don't. This is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is his missing poster. If you would like that missing poster, just head over to Google TBI. They got it for you. You can download it. You can print it. There's scanning devices. There's whatever that's called, that code that you can use and distribute it as far and as wide as you possibly can. Dorian Welter says those bites are human, in my opinion. So we have Star Chaser, Laura Williams, Patty Cakes, Tracy. A lot of people believe those are human bite marks. It could be nails, too. Let's go back and look at it. It is alarming. Oh, my alarm. Huh. He looks a different age in every picture. I don't think they took a lot of pictures of him, Sassy. I really don't. Jazz Dobie, it was only 4 days after when the Bower Sox went on Alaska trip. Elmer Woods, they go to this extent to get rid of Sebastian, but Chris doesn't think to cover bite marks for the interview? That's a good question, too. But you guys, let me tell you this. If your kid is missing and your arms look like that, wouldn't you just, even if it was from the Morkeys or branches, whatever, wouldn't you be worried other people would think that was defensive wounds? So regardless of why it's on his arms, he did not cover it or care that you're looking at it. He didn't care if you got suspicious. He didn't care. So, I mean, whatever these marks are, I'll tell you, honestly, I think they could be both. I feel that looks like human attack, like defensive wounds, but I could be wrong. Sensitive Guy, hello, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You said, really? I'd clock Katie right in here, her lion face. Oh, Lord. We don't want to be hitting nobody, but I know it gets frustrating. See, Bookie and I, we are along the same lines. I mean, they could be nails digging in. All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. This is why I keep saying nails. So you all know, well, you might not. My ex-husband is in prison because for manslaughter, he took somebody's life. Now, I was divorced for many, 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 many years before that happened. However, there was one time when my kids were little, and he put his hands on me. And he lifted me by my neck, right underneath my jaw, to where only my tiptoes were on the ground. And that's what I left on his arms with my nails. Because it was instinctual. Absolute instinct to claw what was holding me. Like I dug my nails in to get him off my throat. I didn't go for his hands or his fingers. Instinctively, I went for his arms. Like, I think it's hard to think back. It was many years ago, and it was a reaction. But I don't think I could. I was worried I wouldn't be able to get my fingers under his fingers and pry him off. So I went for his forearms to try to cause pain. And I had pretty good nails. Now, keep in mind, we've heard Nina talk about her daughter getting her nails clipped by this man. And she was little bitty, and Nina made the claim and alleged that when the child didn't want her nails clipped or she pulled her hand away or something, that Chris backhanded, allegedly, the child in the mouth or in the face or something. So I'm just saying, not that that has anything to do with what his arms look like. I'm just saying it just seems weird. Why was he clipping nails? What's the big deal? Cat Age says, I thought nails too. But it could be a bite too. You're right, Jilly Lane. And that's not even a joke. It's not alleged. It is fact. He thinks he is smarter than everyone. I agree. Glenda Henshaw says, oh, snot. No, I did not know this. This is terrifying. Truly. Rock That Body says, can relate. Very sorry for you. Well, lovely, I think all of us on the planet have been through some horrific crap, to be honest. I don't think it is, this person or that person. I've met very few people that don't have trauma. Evil Alaska says, damn, my ex just got 9 life sentences for arson, M-U-R-D-E-R, because YouTube makes me spell, of 9 in Acon, Ohio. I have been in the same chokeholds. Well, Evil Alaska, I would like you to look at it and tell us what you think. Looks like bite marks to me. So you feel it would be bite marks, and you could be right. Okay, Jazzy Dopey says, in my opinion, that's not dog bites or scratches from playing with puppies. Dee says, supposedly, stepdad backhanded Faith because she was too young for the belt. Good Lord. Right, Ghost Anna. Nobody makes it out unscathed. That's how I feel. Queensland, Australia. Hi, Karen Kilran. Thank you for tuning in. You think it's both, Rachel? Glenda says, oh, yes, it does. Signs of ABUSE, because YouTube makes me spell, are signs of pattern of, I messed up, magno, I can't say that word. I don't know how to say that word. I'll just say narcissism, with so much more going on, in my opinion. Malignant, there it is. I actually have severe dyslexia. You'll hear it sometimes. I'll say things backwards accidentally, not meaning to. Like there were 2 guys, and they had a key that we were waiting on to build our haunted house. And I was so excited when we finally got the key to the big building that we were going to do. And their name was Larry and Dick. Okay. And so I ran into our haunted house group, and I had the keys dangling, and I'm like so excited. And I'm like, Lick and Dairy gave us the keys accidentally. Everybody died laughing, but they became known as Lick and Derry after that instead of Larry and Dick. Doreen Welter says, same pattern on both arms. Nails would make different patterns on each arm. Good point. Good point. Crystal Clear says he shouldn't be putting his hands on anyone. Period. I agree. I agree. Absolutely. When you listen the way he talked to the PI, oh my golly, I thought of like, what if a child made him mad like that? Ann says, I raised puppies and kittens my whole life, and there's no way that's from a dog, in my opinion. Renita Wood says, Chris doesn't think people are intelligent or wise. Chris believes he's in the clear. He's very ignorant to the intelligence of others, seen through the deception. Equals psychopath, in my opinion. Could be. I used WD-40 on my chair, but it's still got a squeak. I must have missed something. So do you guys feel that, I mean, is there a way for us, thank you, Jenny, I was thinking the same thing. Is there a way for us to somehow make a plea to each of our own, maybe our governor? I don't know who we would somehow make a plea to. Maybe on our social medias, we could start like a tsunami wave of asking that a child 12 and under that goes missing, that it automatically be investigated as if it's a criminal investigation. Why couldn't that be done? Am I just silly to even think that? Bottom line, says Babs 22. Katie, what happened to and where is Sebastian? You know, that's interesting you say it that way, because it kind of queued up that whole stepdad statement of saying the $1 million question, how and why Sebastian's gone. So the how, I believe I just shared with you my theory. How he got out of the house without dogs seeing him is he never went home. I believe he left from Texas Roadhouse with Katie and went straight over to Chris, 3.5 hours away or 3 hours away. All right. The why, I believe it had to do with the stepdad's daughter and Sebastian in some way. I don't know what it is, but it's like I said, there's a cleanup on an aisle in the store, and I feel like SO is somewhere hovering around, but I don't know what aisle to clean up on, Love your Operation Blackout. I think it's absolutely plausible. Scranton Strangler. Thank you, love. I pray, and I said that a lot in comments, I pray I'm wrong. Truly. Blue Jean Baby, I love your name. You said that's a good point, Mama D, because I've been watching the Chad Daybell trial, and they looked for those kids for months and found them DEAD buried in his yard. Ugh. Yes, I am sending it to Ellie Boogie. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to do a recording to where I did like tonight, where I say mom, stepdad, stepgrandma. I'm getting rid of the initials. I'm going to clean it up. I'm just going to do the presentation without being live, just record it. And I'll send it off to TBI. And then I will upload the short version, which it will be. Because, I figure you really got to keep it short for TBI. Take out all the fluff, And I'll throw it out there on its own, and you guys can watch what I sent to TBI. I'm going to send it to the FBI and TBI. Military training. That's right, Mary Dickinson's. Think about it. All three parents have military training. Seth was in the, I think the Navy, right? Chris was in the Navy, and Katie was in the Navy. Yes, I am absolutely sending it to TBI. I feel the worst that can happen is they'd be like, well, that wasted 2 minutes of my life, because I'm going to 2-3 minutes is how I'm going to work it out. Right. Babs 22 says, yes, ma'am. I do not believe he ever made it home that night after TRH. Scranton Stranger says, did anyone ever ask what happened to the niece? KP, the mother, never mentions her after she said they picked her up. I find that strange too. We never hear about her being. They picked her up. Where did they pick her up from? And then I know that the child's parents showed up, or mother showed up, right? That's why the aunt was with. Maybe it's because maybe Katie and Sebastian picked up the niece from somebody the child was sleeping over at and met him at BJ's, and the mother took the child home. That's my best guess. Oh, thank you, Ivy's mom. You say you are so much easier to follow. Good theory makes sense. New sub. Thank you, lovely. Yes, I am absolutely sending it to TBI and FBI. Like I said, I'm going to get it under 3 minutes. 3 minutes is the max because they ain't got time to waste. I'm cutting all the fluff out. And then I'll share it with you guys after I send it to them. Karen Kilogram says something happened at Christmas. When Faith came home in January, Nina filed for temporary custody order to be put in place. Something happened. Sebastian was at Suf's and FaceTimed Faith. So think about it, you guys. That is true. Karen is 100% right on that. Nina really did file a temporary custody order to be put in place. Something happened. Now here's the deal. If Faith was alone with the stepdad and the mom, it would have been the dad, because it would, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so Chris and Katie. Let's just say that because it's going to get too confusing. If Faith is alone with her dad and Katie over Christmas, what would have triggered Nina? And is that... Good Lord, this is so twisted, y'all. This is so twisted. Okay, Bama Girl Bree says that it has been alleged that they dropped her off with her mom, allegedly, at a grocery store. Did you guys ever hear the rumor? I just heard it today through a lot of different people. It's a rumor, though, because I haven't seen paperwork. A rumor. Unless somebody can show me where it came from and we can validate it. However, it was said, or has been said, that Sebastian was actually talking to step-grandma the day before, and I don't know if that's true or not. As well as there's a rumor that some texting was going on with the RSO grandma. Why? On the last night, with this child. Y'all, I have to ask something. Here goes that boom for all you that stay here for the hour, almost 2 hours. Here's a boom. I'm going to throw it out here. And it's going to be a big boom. And I know it's going to split the room. I hate that this is how my brain works, y'all. But I got to throw it out there. Who remembers the crime must fit the punishment? Who remembers who said that? Anybody remember who said that? Yeah, the only confirmed Polly that we know of is Seth through Nancy Grace. We have no idea if the other two even really took a Polly, if they passed or whatever. We have no idea. They may have taken a Polly and both been told they passed and they didn't. We don't know. We have no idea. Right, Chris. Everybody remembers. So, if that is Chris's rule, because remember, Chris makes the rules in that world, not our world. But if the crime must fit the punishment, I want you to listen to me. Deep breath, you guys, because this is horrific. Chris has, according to the real dad of Sebastian, Chris told the real dad's mom that Sebastian was a pedo. So if Chris believes that Sebastian is a pedo, if he believes that, not that it's true by any stretch of the imagination, but in Chris's mind, God only knows what kind of hell goes on in there. For him to say that, I have no idea where he got it from. However, if Chris believes the punishment must fit the crime, and then he believes Sebastian is a pedo, would he have said, hey, since Sebastian, I'm saying, would Chris have said that? Let's make a punishment that whatever crime Chris thinks happened, and then the RSO grandma be given the right to take Sebastian? I'm just asking. Emily Bickery, don't get me wrong, Mama D, because I can see how you come to your thoughts on what happened too. Is Chris, a good question, Jazzy Doby says, is Chris projecting? OMG. Mama Bear said she heard. Where did you hear it from? Before I repeat it, where did you get that from? I'm not being mean or nothing, sweetheart. I just don't want to put that out unless it comes from a source, or I could say it's a rumor. I'll put it that way. Okay, Mama Bear heard a rumor. Now remember, this is a rumor. We have been told some stupid crap that is absolutely not true, and this could be exactly that, just a made-up bull crap. Mama Bear says, I heard a rumor that Faith told her mom that stepdad threw Sebastian across the room. And that's what my fears are because of his anger. That's my fears right there. I don't know. Alicia Case says, if she passes Polly, she doesn't know the details of that night. Chris's mom got him at TRH per Chris's instruction, just like she kidnapped Faith. Oh my golly, you guys. You know, my entire theory could be changed right there with Alicia K. What if there was no switching of a car? We never have footage that shows Sebastian getting into Katie's car. What if it was step-grandma all along? What if Katie and Sebastian left Texas restaurant? They're off camera. Sebastian goes and gets in step-grandma's car, and Kate goes home. That meat in the morning might have been for shoes and stuff. Who knows? There's so many different ways to look at this. There is rumors that Chris did touch. Rumors that Chris did touch his sisters and cousins inappropriately when he was a teenager. And that his mom covered it up. How do we know it wasn't the foster grandma? I don't. Well, the trolls are thick because we've struck a nerve, lovely. When we strike a nerve, we get more trolls. It's all we can do. But you guys are handling it beautiful. Ashley Nicole, love to see you. You said, in my opinion, someone seems to have been doing something disgusting to Sebastian to cause him to need diapers. Well, you know, I can't comment because I don't know his medical history. And I will tell you, there are adults, and young adults that do have to wear pull-ups or adult depends, if you will, not because of trauma, but because they actually have medical issues. Could be medication they're on, all kinds of things. So I can't judge that. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Thank you, Mama Bear. If you've saved it, definitely look, please. Joe Puglish feels Katie won't say anything because she's so afraid of Chris. Tell you what, if Chris was my husband and he tried to do something to me, I'm just telling you, good old frying pan would solve that. Hit him hard in front of her. Oh, Lord. It makes you wonder what would trigger Nina to go right to CPS and, do that. And then, was Sebastian actually talking in a text to, because Tony Mathis said that Sebastian was texting Katie's RSO mom the night he went missing. If he's not in the home, would Katie have done that? Texted her own mom to make it look like Sebastian had to give an alibi? Or in this case, would it be step-grandma texting family members saying, yeah, it's me, Sebastian, just to make a cover story? Noelle says, Mama D, I learned so much from the lab the other night. What happened? Tell me. I'm nosy. Babs22 says that the video of Sebastian leaving the TRH, which is the restaurant, he didn't look happy and he looked really sad. Well, what he said was he didn't look as happy as when he's with his dad, and that he wasn't skipping to the car. He just walked, and it was just a matter of fact. Right? Mama Girl Bree says, I don't think they hurt him. I think they sent him out of state to live with someone Katie knows. Chris didn't want him there. She didn't want Seth to have him, in my opinion. And stepdad was involved, so the bandit crew. Well, you could be right. Right, Linda, the trolls get triggered when you're getting close to the truth. Correct. That's why I say, you start seeing a lot of trolls, pretty much guess that we're on some sort of the right path. We probably have some things to do to get to the exact destination of where we need to get to Sebastian. But if we look at it this way, Chris is a controller. He's spending all his time before and after the disappearance of Sebastian over near his work. But he's also in Mississippi, so it would complicate things if the child lives in Tennessee, but he had his last, breath, if you will, in a different state. It would definitely complicate things. And it could prevent him from being found because all of a sudden you have new jurisdictions, you have all new laws. Right? I mean, in the Idaho 4 case, we're looking at Washington, which doesn't have the death penalty, and we're looking at Idaho, which does. So a lot of people in the Idaho 4 case is asking why the suspect that they have arrested, which is Kohlberger, would have, if he was just randomly picking 4 people to take out, why wouldn't he just do it right there at the college he's at? Why go to a DP state? So when you look at the Sebastian Rogers case, I'm thinking of that too. And I'm like, okay, so look how complicated it gets as soon as, the child lives in this area, but then they're taken out in another area, which is across the state line. And I think that's another reason this theory could hold water. It could. It's plausible, possible. Jason Griffin, you don't think they have Sebastian on footage leaving the house? The cops have to know the kid left the house unharmed at this point. Well, they don't really. They don't. Because their last proof of life that they showed the father was at the restaurant. So he would have already left the house and he would be at the restaurant. And they showed that that is the last proof of life. The only other video that they showed the father was according to, let's see, where is it with the, all you can see is the flashlight. It was with Pascal. Hold on. Hold on. Lovely Luz. Or am I seeing it wrong? Hold on. I think this is it. Listen to what Seth says about the footage that he saw when he went to TBI. And this is all about whoever took out the garbage.
We truly do not know what's going on. Unfortunately, haven't found any video proof of him since Texas Roadhouse. The video that they showed me of him taking the trash out,
Yeah.
you can't see, so it's not a definite picture.
So wait. So when you say when the video of him taking the trash out, you can't really see. Can you explain what you actually saw in that footage then of him taking out the trash, allegedly?
You see a flashlight,
And
that's about it.
And that's it.
That's it.
And what time was that at again?
You see a shadow. There, I didn't see a time link on there because it was a ring cam.
Aye. So only and that ring cam. I know you can't give us specifically the location of that ring cam, but was it nearby? Was it like that video that we saw that was like, a cropped, super cropped footage from a very big picture?
They showed me the whole thing, and it's too dark.
Okay.
Too dark for me to say that that's my son.
Yeah, no doubt. I would be wondering if that's actually him or not too, right? That's interesting.
You could always hope it is, but that's speculation.
Right.
It's speculation.
No doubt. The speculation part. Okay.
So there was no way to see who took out that garbage. Could have been Katie. Could have been step-grandma. It could have been somebody else playing the decoy. We don't know. Merch says, now Ellie sure won't be sharing any info with Seth. Was that the intent of all of this? I have no idea on that. All I know is the things that were shared today was really strange. And I'm going to sort it out first before I come on and be like, okay, TBI saw Sebastian on the 26th. I do feel that is right. I asked that. Remember? Hold on. Let's get that. Remember when I did this video? Remember this? Let's get it on the screen for you. The wrong date. Couple weeks ago where I totally spazzed out because the missing center has the 25th for the date down that Sebastian was last seen. But TBI has right on their missing poster that he was last seen on February 26th, which is Monday. And I said, OMG. Is this a misprint on the TBI poster, or did someone really see this child, Sebastian, on Monday even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, Monday. Because as far as we all knew, the last proof of life was the voice when Katie made the claim that she heard the thud. And he said, yes, ma'am. I don't believe that's what he said either. Spirit Conjure, please have been informed, but you've got to understand, we out here in New York, how I got this, I have no clue. It's strange, but it made my stomach turn. I missed something. I have no idea. I missed something big. Babs 22, per Chris's words, quote, he stepped up the porch and disappeared. Right. Woo! Bubbly Beth, you say he could have changed clothes at Gma's. Katie or Kathy drove to Chris. Wow. I don't know who Nina Glass is, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to even get my hopes up that we have some famous searcher or anything like that, because I'll be honest, I can't put myself out there and get excited. We've been let down again and again and again. Hello, True Crime and other stuff. Hello, lovely. You said the lab had a leaked phone call from, oh, yeah, we know. We played it that night, lovely, and there was 71 or something like that F-bombs, and YouTube slapped my hand for playing it. They were like, this does not meet our community guidelines. And I didn't even argue it. I was like, I know. So I put it as a private member because I'm like, well, I don't want to delete it. And our members are, they're adults. They can handle it. Babs 22 says they had so much time to conceal and remove anything because they treated this as a runaway. Exactly. Again, is there something we can do to be like, hey, if the child is 12 and under, it should be treated like a criminal investigation. I'm talking luminol, fingerprints, who was in the room. I mean, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. I don't know if they really, I don't know what to think right now of what Tony is sharing. So Tony Mathis said that they found out last night that Sebastian, how would you know if it was Sebastian texting or anybody? So I'm just going to say someone in the household, because he said Sebastian. I highly doubt that. I would think it would be Katie or someone else trying to preface some sort of an alibi. Like, hey, I'm going to pretend that I'm my son Noah, and I'm going to text his grandma and be like, hi, Grandma, how you doing? But see, I'm texting, so she'll never know it's just me. And now if anybody asks her, they'll be like, well, I know Noah was home because I talked to him on the phone. Well, we texted. So even though they're hoping that it's Sebastian, how would you prove it was Sebastian in a text? Unless you were watching him. And then how did he find out about the text anyway? Evil Alaska says, why did Ellie search landfill right from the start? They didn't do that without probable cause. That's what I said. They had to have a reason. What was that? Allegedly, it was because the garbage was reported to be extremely heavy. Now, I believe that was all the security camera in the house. They waited till that night so it would get taken away because the garbage was getting picked up right away early in the morning around 5-ish. They knew that, so I believe whoever was playing the decoy at the house put the garbage out at the curb, knowing nobody's going to touch our garbage in the next, 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours, whatever it would be, till that garbage truck came. And people are like, well, wouldn't they have found that equipment out when they were digging in the landfill? Let me explain this. When they go to dig in that landfill, they're going to see a lot of computers, a lot of video camera equipment, and not give a hoot, because the only thing that they are looking for in that landfill is a recovery. You feel me? Well, Mama Bear, you've got a good question. Who gave Sebastian, and I put it in air quotes because I don't think it would be Sebastian, the phone number? Great question. Dee says, I'm not impressed with Tony. Seth can handle it without him. Good way to put it, lovely. But a girl-free autistic kid has obsessions, and I heard he liked taking out the trash. Babs 22. My son is 23 and autistic, and if he went missing, I would open up my home for any investigation of any kind, cameras, FBI, TBI, anything, and be begging on every TV channel for help. That's why I say 12 and under. And I know it wouldn't help in Sebastian's case, but maybe it should have like a bylaw if the child if they qualify for an Amber Alert or they're 12 years or under, it should be treated instantly as a criminal investigation. Just my personal view. Stephen Crabtree paid for her car to be fixed. Paid for whose car to be fixed, lovely? And who's Stephen Crabtree? All right, my lovely Luz. Mama D needs to go get a bite to eat. I sat fence all day. I was outside all day. All day. I am exhausted. I appreciate everything you guys do. You've shown so much love and support for Sebastian, for me, the channel, each other. You guys did an amazing job. Even though we had trolls, you kept it peaceful. You kept it respectful. And we put Sebastian first. And that's the most important thing we can do. Truly. I love you guys. And it will either be Sunday night or Monday. And I will put out my, because I want to get it ready. I want time to go over the video really very good. It'll be a little 3-minute thing. And then the next time we get together, which like I said, Sunday night or Monday, I will show you what I sent to TBI. But I have to clean it. And I have to defluff it because I want it under 3 minutes or they're not even going to watch it. It has to be like, I think that this happened, this happened, this happened, and this time, and this time. I love you guys. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you, humbly from the bottom of my heart, for keeping Sebastian's name out there. You guys rock. Hey, we are always going to be Sebastian Strong. I love you. I love you, Jenny, and Time Space Soul, and Ricky Dobie, and Barry Happy, Interior Families, Mr. Ifs, Jilly Lane, Lynette Clump. I love you all. Good night, Joe Puglish. Good night, John Boy.
You can tell yourself and all our friends I was wrong and you were right. But your sins that happened in the dark will come out in the light. I'm not gonna waste my breath, I won't put up a fight. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. 'cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, you feel like every finger points at you, 'cause you're to blame. And the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. It's gonna tell on